Hello everyone, this is Lorianne, your number one fan, and I am going to do a raindrop technique demo on this volunteer right here, my son, Elijah. Raindrop technique is a application of essential oils begun by Gary Young and promoted by David Stewart through his Center for Aromatherapy Research and Education. Raindrop is a form of frequency application, so the first thing we want to do before we go too far here is to take off our jewelry and anything that is electronic so that it doesn't interfere with the work of the oils. I want to talk about the 11 points to mention as written by Dr. David Stewart. The purpose of raindrop technique is to stimulate every organ, muscle, and bone of the body at a cellular level through the oils, boosting the body and bringing it into structural and electrical balance, and enabling the release of all unprofitable things or unease where they may be lodged, including those things which are lodged in the mind and the emotions. Raindrop technique is a non-secular art and science. What does that mean? Non-secular means it is a sacred practice. Raindrop technique is most effectively performed in silence. No music and no talking. This allows the facilitator to concentrate and serve as a better channel while allowing the client to interiorize their mind and assist in the healing process. If talking is necessary for demonstration purposes, for example, it should be done quietly. We want to have an attitude of prayer and acknowledge our Creator as the source of all health and well-being, and seek His guidance at all times. You, the client, are the principal participant in the means of your own health and well-being. The facilitator, which is me, is but a vessel, assisting the client to mobilize their own body's strengthening powers. The maladies of the body and mind are in layers, so during any raindrop session, only those layers that we are willing and able to release will be released. Negative experiences are often our greatest teachers. That is why we sometimes hold on to them, because we have something to learn from them. So we want to be prepared. Most of the time there isn't a big emotional reaction or physical reaction to raindrop. Usually it is very pleasant, but each raindrop with each individual is a little bit different based on what that person is ready to release. Raindrop is a complete modality in and of itself and reaches to all levels of the body, mind, and emotions, and is not necessarily improved by adding other techniques such as chiropractic or massage therapy. It stimulates the elimination of unwanted things in the body, so it's very important for you to drink plenty of water after a session. Raindrop technique can lead to permanent change, but the correction of maladies will vary widely among clients according to their needs going into the session. So it kind of depends on where you are below the wellness line as to how the raindrop will affect you. Strong emotional responses can sometimes occur. Since the oils, when inhaled, go directly into the central brain, which coordinates memory of stored emotions. So you want to be prepared for that, and it's okay if you want to cry. The benefits may not be apparent immediately. In fact, often people feel changes happening up to a week following a raindrop. Let's talk about skin sensitivities. Therapeutic grade essential oils, such as those from Young Living, are generally safe to apply neat to the skin without unpleasant reactions. However, people whose bodies are in an acid condition or have high levels of unwanted things in their body may react and can develop a little heat or redness. If that is the case, you just let me know if it's uncomfortable, and I will apply some extra V6 or massage oil to reduce the heat. Anyone can do raindrop. Changes in the body are from God. Our bodies were designed to repair themselves at all times. No license or formal training is necessary. There are a variety of valid and effective ways to do Raindrop. While following a basic outline, the experienced facilitator may do different oils and make the technique fit the individual client. I will be doing the Dallas 2000 version as gathered by David Stewart. You see, Gary Young was a very intuitive worker, and every raindrop tended to be different when he applied oils because he was responding to the person. However, in Dallas of 2000, he did 2 raindrops back to back that were just alike, and so that became the standard that is taught by the Center for Aromatherapy and Education. Now, the next thing to do when you're doing a raindrop technique is to have the client sign a waiver. This waiver basically says that each of us is responsible for our own health and well-being, and that you are undertaking this voluntarily and without coercion. Go ahead and give me your John Hancock right there. Thank you. The next thing we do, and I'm just going to do a quick demo of it, is we actually do a quick height check. So just stand up. If I were doing this for real, I would have him go up against a wall, and I would use some kind of a guide and draw a line to see how tall he is. And then I would check again after the raindrop to see what kinds of changes may have happened with spinal alignment. All right. The first part of the raindrop, go ahead and get up on the table, head this way and face up with your feet down over the edge. The first part of raindrop is VitaFlex on the feet. VitaFlex is short for vital reflexology, and it is based on reflexology and is the various techniques used in raindrop are based on massage and chiropractic and just the simple laying on of hands, as well as Native American practices. I'm going to keep this little sheet handy and follow it along. You don't have to memorize these steps. Are you warm enough, cool enough, comfortable?
I'm comfortable.
All right. The 9 oils of Raindrop Technique are Valor, oregano, thyme, basil, wintergreen, aromaceas, cypress, and peppermint. Also, it is recommended that we use an oil like Higher Unity or White Angelica first on ourselves in order to prepare ourselves emotionally and spiritually to do this work, and also to safeguard our hearts. If you are a body worker, then you know that it is very easy when you're touching people all the time to gather up sort of their negative emotions. So it's important for us to use oils that have a protective element. So I'm going to put on a little Higher Unity right now. Actually, the first step is at the shoulders. Jeff, if you want to be ready to move the camera, because the first step is that we do the balancing step. We put 6 drops of Valor, which is a wonderful, wonderful oil, on the palms. And then we put it on the ball of the shoulder, like this. And then we hold the shoulders. And what I'm feeling for is for the electrical pulse that we will create together. It will feel a lot like a heartbeat. And the Valor is going to begin the work of bringing the body into alignment. I will try to breathe along with Elijah, and relax. And I will begin to develop a contemplative or prayerful mental state. And I will ask God to use me as a vessel to bring his body and mind and his spirit and emotions into alignment. Usually what I sense is at first there will be kind of a little pulse, and then I will feel a little chatter as the body begins to shift in response to the oils. And then I will feel it settle again into a pulse. It'll be kind of a bump, bump, bump. And when I feel that, I know he is in alignment, and he's very oily. It happened very quickly. According to Dr. Stewart, it may take up to 20 minutes or even the whole 45-minute session to bring that balance, and if so, it's a very worthwhile way to use the time. Next, I will again use 6 drops of Valor on the palms of my hand. You may notice that Valor is bluish purple. That is blue tansy in the Valor. I'm going to not rub the oils into my hands. I am going to have them just kind of sit on the top because I want the oils to be going into him, not into me. If you've done a lot of aromatherapy work, it may be very automatic to kind of try to smooth the oils in. And here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to feel for his pulse. Going to try to kind of breathe in rhythm with him. Going to relax and be a vessel of honor. And I'm going to wait until I feel a steadying of that pulse. Your feet are very cold. This kid needs to wear a hat. All right. Don't worry if you don't feel the pulse at first. You can certainly continue the raindrop technique after just a few minutes. Now I'm going to again do Valor. So I did 6 drops up at his shoulders, 6 drops on his feet. Now I'm going to do 3 on each foot with this VitaFlex movement. I'm going to get oils on my hands. I'm going to do a little circle and I'm going to demonstrate first. I'm using this reflexology technique, and what it looks like is like this, going pad, tip, nail, right here along what is the colon or the spine reflexology point on the foot. And if you don't know about reflexology points, that's okay. We will be teaching you more about all that. Next, I will do his right foot. And I will do 3 drops of Valor in the palm of my hand. I will put my fingers on it, and again, I want the oils to be going to him, not me. So I'm going to have them very wet, not rubbing it into me. And then I'm going to hit my fingers just below the heel and go in a line down this point on his foot. And I'm doing about 7 pumps from the heel to the base of the toe, and then another 7 pumps on the toe itself. And I will do that 3 times. Essentially, in the raindrop technique, we do everything in groups of 3. I always feel like that's because you may do one too hard, one too soft, and one just right. Afterwards, you may have some oils left on your hands. Just wipe them on the client's feet. The oils are for them. Next, I will do oregano. Oregano is a very warm, spicy oil, but generally we don't have any heat on the feet. While the feet are a great place for essential oils because the nervous system is very close to the surface, our feet obviously have skin that's pretty tough. Every once in a while, someone will be sensitive enough that I have to back up and dilute the oregano when I'm working on their feet. If a person has had a lot of medical things done and has a lot of challenges, you want to take the raindrop very slow and be sensitive and responsive to their body. A small amount of oils may make a very big difference, and you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overwhelm the person too much. So again, 3 drops of oregano on the palm, and going 7 pumps of reflexology down to the base of the toe, and 7 pumps on the toe itself. Some of the effects a person might feel after a raindrop is they may feel just way more relaxed. Sometimes people want to just go take a nap after the raindrop technique is done. Others, or I should say different times, a person may instead feel energized, jump up and get things accomplished. It may make the person feel a little bit more calm and mellow. One of the most dramatic experiences I had was very early on when we were really just experimenting and when people had not had any experiences with oils yet. And I did a couple of raindrops on one of my friends, and I got her started with Young Living's Essential Rewards program so that she was buying oils every month and she was using emotional oils. And I had known her for many years, and during those years I had known that she had been really trying hard to get her life started. She couldn't seem to find the right job path. She couldn't seem to find the right place to live. She couldn't seem to get projects started. She had a long list of things she wanted to do, and she felt very bad that she wasn't getting them done. And within about 6 months of getting started with Young Living Essential Oils, Raindrop Technique, and using these for emotional work, she had a huge breakthrough where suddenly she started doing all the things on her list, just ticking them off. Oh, I've always wanted to go there. Oh, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to do that. That was very rewarding. And I've lost touch with her, but I noticed that she has bought a home since I knew her after so many years of wanting to have a home. So far we've done valor, oregano, and thyme. Our next oil will be basil. Basil is a yummy oil. You may notice that many of these oils are kind of to the Mediterranean spiciness side of things. It is our experience that after a raindrop, quite often a home will smell like a pizzeria. And most people like that smell. Today, basil smells particularly sweet to me. Basil is a very potent oil that we use in our Birthing Perfect Peace program, where we work with mamas about making reconciliation with things that have happened in their birth that didn't go as well as they wanted to, or in their young motherhood that were challenging. Basil, we use a lot of basil in that. How's that feeling so far, hon? Good? Good. Oh, good. Okay. The pressure is okay?
Yeah.
It's good idea to check. People have different levels of tolerance for pressure. I have had people be very ticklish. You can get kicked doing Raindrop if you have people who are very ticklish. But most people, by about the third oil, they relax and they like a nice firm pressure. The next oil is wintergreen, and I want to talk a little bit about wintergreen. Wintergreen is one of the oils that is shows how important it is to be using Young Living oils, true therapeutic grade oils, and not just grocery store oils. Wintergreen comes, even from Young Living, it comes with a childproof cap because synthetic, diluted, artificial, lab-created wintergreen is not safe, and it could do harm. I have used a lot of wintergreen and no harm has come to me. And I know someone who accidentally ingested a boatload of Young Living wintergreen and was just fine, although it did clear them out a little bit. But you will see that some of our oils will have childproof caps. That does not mean they're dangerous. It means that the FDA has determined that it may be dangerous, but more likely it's that synthetic versions would be dangerous. I use all these oils fearlessly in everyone in my home, with myself, my husband, my children, my pets, and I've been using hundreds of drops some days, and over the course of the past 12 years, and I just get younger and younger and better and better. Oh, I always forget how yummy this all smells. It's funny because I've been working toward doing this all day long and feeling like, oh, I'm going to have to do a Raindrop. And now that I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, this feels so good. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, I love doing this. Our next oil is marjoram. Marjoram, again, is in that green herb family of oils. And marjoram is one I use quite a bit for tension in the head. Everybody sort of has their favorites, the ones that for them just are the right thing to do. And for whatever reason, when I have tension in my head or neck, I find that marjoram is my favorite go-to oil. At this very moment, I'm hoping that Carrie doesn't watch this video because she probably will have something to say about my technique. After 12 years of doing Raindrops, I probably have gotten a little sloppy. I've taken the class several times, but I have not worked towards certification. You don't have to be certified in order to do applications on friends and family or free. So I have not done that. If you want to be a licensed Raindrop practitioner and charge for it, CARE offers a certification program. There are other organizations who do as well, so that you can get certified to do this body work. In the case of CARE, basically you become a kind of a licensed minister, certified to do the laying on of hands, anointing oils in religious tradition, which takes it from body work into the spiritual realm. If you are already a body worker, such as a massage therapist, chiropractor, or minister, then you wouldn't need any further certification probably to charge to do Raindrop Technique. The next oil is going to be cypress, and this is one of the tree oils. The tree oils tend to be my favorite. I love frankincense, I love pine, I love cypress, I love cedarwood. And quite often I notice that right at the cypress step, suddenly the client just unwinds. Quite often they may fall asleep, they may relax, Usually they may comment and say, oh, this is starting to feel so good. So cypress is the oil that sort of gives a little extra boost to the other oils. I won't do the next oil in the raindrop technique at this stage, which is Aroma Seas. Aroma Seas is a blend of the raindrop oils plus lavender that is used for any muscle areas that are tight. And then the last oil of the raindrop technique is peppermint. You may do the oils in a different order or choose different oils to add in, but as the final oil you want to do peppermint or copaiba because they have the effect of activating the other oils. So the peppermint will be the last one. It will sort of drive in the other oils. So I have done all 9 oils on his feet. I should say I've done 8 of the 9 oils on his feet, and now we will go and do them also on his back. And at that point, it gets a little more interesting. The raindrop technique, the first half of it is this just vitaflexing all the oils into the feet, and then we'll do a lot more interesting techniques on the back. It helped me a lot when I realized that this was the first half, because I was always like rushing and thinking, oh, when are we going to get to the raindrop part? When are we going to get to the raindrop part? And finally I realized, oh, we do all 9 oils. It takes about half the amount of time. And then the other half is when the person rolls over onto their back. Any questions so far? How about you, Elijah? You have any questions? All right. What we're going to do now is I'm going to have Elijah roll over, and we're going to pause the camera. So I've turned Elijah over, and now he is face down with his head in the face cradle. And I am going to arrange him so that I have as much access to his spine as possible. I've also made sure that I have handy the V6, which is a carrier or diluting oil, and Ortho-Ease massage oil. I want to have those ready in case the oils are hot. Especially the oregano and thyme are quite spicy, so when you're doing a raindrop, you need to be very careful that you don't touch your eyes or other tender areas. So I'm going to tuck this sheet into his pants and pull this down. We say we want to have access to the lower sacrum, so we say we want it just south of Crackville. And the last oil, Valor will be in a different order. We will start with oregano. And this is where we find out where the name raindrop comes from. We are going to take the oregano. I'm going to try to move the oils so that they're sort of in his field of energy. And I'm going to put 3 to 5 drops of each of these oils up the spine like little raindrops, starting as low as possible and going up. And the last drop I want to be right at the highest point here so that we'll be brushing the oils in that direction. And the first step is feathering. Feathering is where we brush with just the very tips of our fingernails, alternating motions all the way up to the nape of the neck. And I'm brushing in a straight line, not to the side, but right down the center. And I'm doing 3-inch strokes, then 6-inch strokes, then 12-inch strokes. So 3, 6, 12 are the measures. And each one 3 times. So this is oregano. We do oregano and thyme this way. That's called the duo. Oregano and thyme. And then 12-inch strokes like that. 12-inch strokes. Here's the thyme. He has a very long back, so I will do all 5 of the drops. And then I'm just going to brush at the center. And I don't want the oils getting on me. I want it to be like the lightest brush so the oils are going more into him. Although one of the things I love about Raindrop is that it is a benefit and a blessing to both the practitioner and the recipient every time. I'm getting the benefit of the aromatherapy. He's getting the benefit of the aromatherapy. He's getting oils in himself, and I'm getting oils in myself. I had always wanted to be a healer person, but the idea of being so many of the things that people who practice medicine have to do are unpleasant to the person and to the person doing them. I love it that the practice of hands-on aromatherapy, of anointing with oils, is only a blessing and a joy every time. And I admire the people who do the hard work, the gritty work, but I enjoy this side of the work. All right, 3, 6, and 12 with the duo, which was oregano and thyme. Next, we do, actually, now I need to start following the sheet. Okay. Feather 3, 6, 12. Now, feather straight out to the sides. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the very tips of my nails, and I'm going to brush those 2 oils out to the sides from the spine at the center around until my fingers tap the table, all the way up to the nape of the neck. I'm going to do that 3 times, brushing out to the side. This is a step that may look different depending on when a person got their training. I just kind of go up once, 3 times, sort of at the width of my hand. So brushing out to the side, and this is where the oils start to get spread all the way throughout the back after first being put only on the spine. Next is full-length fan strokes. 1, 2, 3. And I'll do that a couple of more times in this, but basically I've done the feathering out to the side, and then a feather up the center and off the shoulders. And now the next oil will be basil. And I'm going to brush, say 3-inch strokes, just alternating the hands right in the track with each other. And at this point, I'm going to start paying attention to whether the client is experiencing any heat. And it is very common for the oregano or the thyme to be drawing out some things on the back. And I'm noticing that Elijah, I don't know if this is in the camera, but right here it is a little pink. But I have told him that everything I do is supposed to be pleasant. And if he doesn't ask for me to dilute it, I probably won't. If it gets super red and if it's an inexperienced person, I may ask, hey, do you want me to dilute? But it's doing its work. The oils won't, the fatty oils like V6 or massage oil won't stop the drawing of the unhealthy things out of the skin. It will just slow it down. So if he can tolerate it, it's fine. Do you want me to dilute it? Or yeah, he's okay. He's used to being cooked by oregano. 3, 6, 6, 6, 6, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. That was basil. Now we're doing wintergreen, which is the second of the trio. Wintergreen is a nice cooling oil. So after those 3 more warm, spicy oils, We'll put wintergreen on, which almost everybody loves and is very familiar as an ingredient in things like biofreeze and Bengay. And it smells so yummy. And I've probably lost count many times. If you are OCD, then I apologize that counting in threes while I'm talking doesn't necessarily always happen very smoothly. However, I just make sure that the person is having a positive experience. The third of the trio is marjoram. We've already talked about my great love of marjoram. And I will again do the 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, all the way up. And then 6-inch strokes, feathering all the way up 3 times. And then 12, 12, 12. On some people's backs, the 12, 12 step is only 2 strokes, but on Elijah, it's more like 4. So now I've done the trio of basil, marjoram, wintergreen, and marjoram. And the next step will be finger circles. So finger circles is taking your fingers like this and putting them down side by side, right next to the spine, right sort of in the little valley between the spine itself and the muscle here. And we're supposed to take a nice strong stance and just kind of knead the area in little circles, finger circles, all the way up the spine. And if I weren't doing a demo, I would go back and forth after each one. Here I'm going to just do 3 on each side, all the way up. See, I'm just sort of trying to tug that flesh away to give those oils an opportunity to get in there nice and deep. And I know this is one of the things I like the most when I'm receiving. I just love them finger circles. Now I go around to the other side and do the same thing, finger circles. Try to always make sure that you are doing things evenly on both sides. You don't want the client to feel all cockeyed when you're done. Finger circles up, up, up. And you may see that that center spot on Elijah's spine is still quite red. Usually I associate that with a person who's been combating or needs work, support for their upper respiratory system. If you've ever seen a diagram of the spine and the parts of the body that are associated with different parts of the spine, it's amazing because it looks just like the old chakra diagrams. And in this case, if a person is having more lower digestive things, they may be a little more red down here. If it's more sinus, it'll be a little pink up there. Next, let's see, finger circles, other oils according to personal eating. So at this step, I'm actually going to use chivalry. We've been talking about how Elijah has a warrior heart, and he wants to find a way to use his gifts and talents. And he's he likes working and he likes being active in his body. So he's always been fascinated with strategy and tactics. So I'm going to put a little chivalry on because he is seeking guidance for his future, trying to make some positive decisions toward he's getting to the age where he needs to decide what he wants to do next. And I'm not going to say that at his age he needs to decide what he wants to be when he grows up, because that would be silly, because I'm still working on that, even at my age. All right. He needs to decide what he wants to be when he's 21. And then go from there. Okay, so a little Chivalry was my extra special oil. You can also, if you've done a Zyto or Itovi scan on the person, you may choose one of the oils that they scanned for to put at the step where it says add other oils according to the leading. Or if you're like me, you just have a bucket load of oils and you can just sort of be sensitive to the Holy Spirit and decide what to use. Now, the next oil we're going to use is, again, cypress. And the cypress we're going to sprinkle a little more generously. Again, raindropping. In this case, going to do a little in a shaker motion. And repeat again. After every single oil, we do this 3, 6, 12 feathering motion. And then sometimes there's other techniques in addition after each oil or set of oils. So after the cypress is also, like the wintergreen, a very cooling oil, and quite often these little warm spots will cool down after the application of the cypress. And this is another spot in the raindrop where often people will fall asleep. Suddenly I will have a little snoring on the table if they're not having to listen to their mother chatter quite so much. And after the cypress, we have a few other fun techniques that we do to encourage the body to just utilize all these oils. Notice I am not, I just did that motion, I shouldn't. This is not massage therapy. I am not rubbing the oils in. That would put more of the oils in my hands. I am just letting the oils be absorbed naturally and just using this very light touch. The next step is thumb Vitaflex, and it's that same motion that we talked about earlier, pad, tip, nail, but I'm going to do it with my thumbs, and I'm going to spread them on either side of the spine, kind of in the fleshy part, and I'm just going to kind of flip over. And a lot of people have trouble with this one, so I like to use the sound effect that helps them. So we say flump. The sound effect here is flump, 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 just kind of flopping over onto the back of the nails. And the reason for that is we're actually making kind of an electrical contact and then breaking it. Our nails are being used as a breaker to stimulate the electrical pulses of the body. So flump, flump, flump is the sound effect to help you know if you're doing it right. All the way up to the nape of the neck. Next is the saw maneuver. Saw maneuver is taking two fingers like this and you plant them down on the back. You take your other hand and make it like a saw, and then you use the hand that is the saw to sort of rock the person. And if they're young and strong and healthy like Elijah, you kind of want to get the whole table rocket. And if they're older and more compromised, then you may want to do a little slightly gentler motion. But note that it's this hand that's making the rocking happening, not this. This is just sort of sliding while this one does the rocking. And we all know, right, how many times do we do everything? 3. So I'm going to do that saw maneuver 3 times. And this again is after the cypress oil. And then I'm going to do the stretch and quiver. I cross my arms like this, plant my hands, press out, and then I shake again, shaking till the whole table moves. And these are all techniques to just sort of drive those oils in and to stimulate the spine and kind of break up the tension and the muscles of the back. And there's no really rational or clinical explanation for the amazing results we get from Raindrop. Raindrop is just one of those synergistic practices that you take the oils, you take the techniques, You take the intention, and somehow it all adds up to being much more than just the sum of the parts. Again, it's a non-secular practice. Something special about the laying on of hands with Raindrop Technique. Ortho-ease. The next step is to grab a massage oil. Ortho-ease is the one that comes in the kit, but Young Living has a number of them. We have Sensation Massage Oil. We have Ortho Sport, which is kind of a sporty oil. We have Cellulite Magic, which is supposed to help with smoothing the skin. I'm going to take this, I'm going to squirt it in my hand and warm it a bit because it can be pretty brutal at room temperature. And I'm just going to generously, and this is the step where finally it looks like a massage. I'm going to put fatty oil and I'm going to rub just in big circles up one side and down the other. And how many times am I going to do that? 3, all the way up. One side, down the other in big circles. And I'm going to then be paying attention to any places that are tight, and I'll put aroma seeds on those. The next step is the crisscross rub like this. Trying to push the muscle up and together. And going to go up. This is the only motion that goes up and down. Start at the bottom and go up to the neck, crisscross, and then back down again. And aroma seeds, I'm going to put into any places where I sensed tension. So it's very common for people to have a little tension here at the shoulder blades. I happen to know Elijah has tension around his shoulders because we have a family that's loose ligamented, and you can either join the circus and become an acrobat, or you can try to take extra care of your ligaments. Okay, down here. All right, so you notice everything is done just on the back except for that first step that we did on the shoulders and the VitaFlex that we did on the feet. At this point, it says in the instructions that you can rest for 5 minutes. So sometimes people will just put a blanket on here and take a break. I'm going to continue pressing on with the last 2 steps. Here is where Valor comes in on the back portion, the raindrop portion of the technique. And just like with the cypress oil, we're going to use a shaker motion. And what are we going to do next? After every oil, right? We do the feathering. Three inches. Then 6 inches, 6 inches, and 12. Okay, well, we're having a little clearing up. Get a little peppermint on me. All right. And where were we? 12, 12, 12. The next thing is what we call palm trees. I'm going to do a motion that looks like this, putting my fingers down and then brushing out to the side in little palm tree motions. And that too will be done in 3-inch increments 3 times, and then 6-inch increments 3 times, and then 12-inch increments 3 times. So once I've done the nice big palm trees, then I am going to do that motion of going up the center and off the shoulders 3 times. Do what we call the T off the shoulders. And then we come to the last oil, which is peppermint. And we do 2 to 4 drops of peppermint. Peppermint is sturdy stuff. And we're going to brush peppermint in. Once again, doing 3, 6, 12. And as I said earlier, when we were doing the feet, the peppermint, no matter, you can use other oils, you can do it in a different order, but the last step you want to do is peppermint because it enhances all the other oils. And or Copaiba also has that enhancing effect. All right, and then so I did the 3, 6, 12s, and then after peppermint I will also do the palm trees. So just the last 2 oils, we do these palm trees where you're kind of stimulating the oils to go out a little more from the center. 3 inches, then 6, 6, and 12. Don't obsess too much about the counting. The person on the table generally doesn't have any sense of the counts. You just kind of feel like somebody's touching you and touching you and touching you. So palm trees and then T's off the shoulders. The next step involves a towel and a warm, wet cloth. I am going to take the sheet and I'm going to bring it up over Elijah's shoulders, and I'm going to put the towel down and spread it nicely, and then I'm going to take a damp hot cloth. I'm going to fold it neatly like I didn't do when I just got it hot. Fold it in 3, roll it, and then put it up at the neck and unroll it down the spine like this so that the bulk of it is here at the center. And then bring the towel back up or from the sides. And I'm going to gently smooth it out. And Elijah, that should feel kind of spicy, warm, kind of minty. Does it feel good? Yep. Okay. You want to check if it feels too hot. You want to maybe add another layer between the warm cloth and the person, because these oils are very spicy. At this point, the person just rests. This is the stage called cooking the client. And what I like to do is just quietly, normally, of course, I'm not talking all the way through this. I'm doing it quietly. I just walk away, and I find that after 5 to 8 minutes, the client suddenly says, "Are we done?" Or what am I supposed to do next? Or there's a moment when the oils just kind of shift, and instead of feeling minty warm, it feels minty cool, and the client just feels done. And We then just help them get up, and I try to always have a bottle or a glass of water ready to go because the client may be thirsty. I will also stand by him. When it's time for him to get up, I will stand in a supportive posture because the effects of the raindrop can cause a little bit of dizziness when they first sit up, just like any time that you're sort of stationary in one place and suddenly get up, you can have a little head rush. So I will make sure that I balance him when he turns around and sits up, and I will give him a little water to facilitate the cleansing of his body. And then he will be all done with his raindrop. This is Lorianne. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this raindrop technique demonstration.